Good evening, everyone. This is the day 9 of MERN series. I'm Naveen Kumar, and today this is the dedicated video which I've already discussed yesterday in the previous video. That today we'll only test our API, only test our API by using Postman, and you can also use Thunder client to test your API. But I'm gonna use my Postman. So because Postman, I feel that it is a bit better. More than the Thunder client. So I'll use it and we'll test our API and we'll also see how we can create, basically perform the CRUD operations. We'll create books and read books, and we'll also update books, and we'll also see how we can basically delete a book if it's not necessary. So let me quickly start to share my screen. Let me walk you through that. So yeah, this is the database which I've already connected with the help of my Mongo URI in my local machine, that is Mongo, that has the and I've already installed my MongoDB Compass. If you want, I will show you sometimes. If you don't know how you can basically if you don't know how you can install the MongoDB Compass, just Google it and you will get to it. It is very easy. So yeah, till this point, we have already seen how we were able to, I've already shown you that how we can create our books, and in the same manner, in the similar manner, we are going to create today some of the books, let's say 2, 3 books I'll create, and we're going to perform the CRUD operations. But before that, let me show you something that you need to basically start your server, perform the CRUD, and my server is already started. And there are some routes which I've shown you how you can create it. This is to read the books. This is to create the books, and this one is for update the books if you want, and this one is for basically delete the book. And yesterday I forgot something to mention in my implementation, that if you want to update a book or if you want to delete the book, you need to specify the end after the endpoint. When you specify your endpoint in your API, you need to specify the ID of it. ID of it. We are going to add the after every endpoint we provide the specific ID of that product or books which we want to update or delete. So here similarly we need to add the ID here as well, and then we're going to perform the operations. And you need to pass in the find by when you are going to update the books, you need to specify the ID with the help of the request params, and then you need to add the request body as well, because you are going to update that book. But in case of delete, you don't need to specify that book. Basically, let's say you don't need to specify the uh, request body. But if you want, you can simply just provide it in this manner as. So without wasting any time, let's see and test our API. So yeah, this is my Postman, which I've already shown you, and let's hit our some of the endpoints. This is to read the books. So you can see that till this point, I have already created one book, and we are going to create. So we know that we can read the books, but let's create some another book. So today we'll create one book that is, let's say, I'll take one name. So I'll say it should be Alchemist, or let's say Atomic Habits. I'll create one book that name is Atomic Habits, and we're going to say the description is, let's say, uh, mental health. It is something, some kind of like, it will tell you mental health advice will provide you. And let's say Atomic Habits, it's all about the habits to build good habits. And rating can be, let's say, 4, and the price could be, let's say, 800. And if I want to create this book, I need to make a post request. So I'll hit this endpoint create. After this book slash, I'll hit this endpoint by providing my create, and if I send this, you can see that I'm successfully able to create this book, which name has atomic habits, description, rating, and it has price as well. And yes, by default, it will also provide you with the specific date on which date you are going to create that book, and with its correspondent ID. And let's create one or two more books, and then we'll move to the another endpoint. So let's say mm, it can be a let's say Spider-Man. I'll create a Spider-Man book, Spider-Man comic, and let's say this is a Spider-Man comic, and it could be a sci-fi, or let's say description sci-fi books for entertainment purpose, and I'll say entertainment, and this would be of course, it would be a rate of 5, and I'll say it could be expensive as well. So I'll say 1,000 rupees. And if I hit, if I set this, you can see that I'm able to create one more book here. And so let's create one more that is, let's say Batman. I'll say Batman and Batman, the Dark Knight. Knight. And it is also a sci-fi books for superhero. And I'll say sci-fi books of superhero. And I'll say it could be a, let's say 700 rupees. And if I create this, now you can see I'm able to create 3 books, and let's create one more. So that they are going to be, will have sufficient amount of books. So um, let's say Bhagavad Gita, and I'll say Bhagavad Gita. And this is the book of, let's say, scriptures, scriptures about Lord Krishna. And I'll say 1,000 books. And if I hit and if I send this, now you can see that I'm able to create the books, but now we're going to read it as well. So till this point, we were successfully able to create the book, but now we'll see that till this point, I did not basically hit this endpoint of reading books. So if I hit this, you can see that I have I have multiple books here. I have Harry Potter, I have Atomic Habits, Spider-Man comic, Batman the Dark Knight, and Bhagavad Gita as well. So you can see I have created, I'm successfully create, I'm able to basically, we are going to, basically we are performing CRUD operations, and in this CRUD operations, we are successfully able to create the books, and we are also successfully able to read the book simultaneously. Now, let's say if I wanted to update the book, and let's say if I wanted to, uh, let's take an example of this Bhagavad Gita book. This is the book of Bhagavad Gita, which has this specific ID. And if I wanted to update its price, let's say if I want to provide the rating, I wanted to increase its rating. Let's say the rating is 8, but let's say I've mistakenly provided it 5. So how can I update that? So to update it, we need to patch this book. So if you want to update something specific in your product, or let's say book, you need to basically provide that. You need to follow this patch method, not the put method. If you put that, you will change the entirely that books. So I'll copy this ID of the Bhagavad Gita, and then I'll go to this. I've already created this, and let's say unit. I'll go with the API and follow the process. So you will get the better and you will understand it in a better manner. So I'll say now my API endpoint is nothing but the update, which I've already shown you here, that this is the update. Now after this, I need to provide the I need to provide the ID of that book which I wanted to update. So I'll say this is the ID. I'll simply paste this ID of that Bhagavad Gita, and I'll simply just let's say I wanted to update the price. So I'll go to the price, or not the price, but I'll say rating. I only wanted to update the rating. So let's simply remove this one. And then we are sending it in the body. So I'll say 10. Let's take the rating, increase the rating. And this is the rating of 10. And if I send this, now you can see that this the previous data that has been shown here, that name is Bhagavad Gita, and the rating was 5 initially. But if we are going to read this book again to this endpoint, you can see this now. My book book's rating is 10. It is updated. You can update it. You can update multiple things at the same time. You need to simply just copy this document, and if you want to, similarly, if you want to delete the book, let's say if uh, I don't want this Spider-Man comic, I need to basically copy this ID, copy its ID, and after this, I'll go to the. By the way, before moving to the delete method, I'll simply mention something, that is, if you want to update the book, you need to select the method as well. There are some methods that you want to use. That is, get is for to read the books, and post is for to create the books, and put is to basically change the entire data if you don't want to update it, and patch is for the update. It is basically to, if you want to update something specific in your book. Let's say you have a book Bhagavad Gita, but if you want to update its price or rating, if you wanted to change it, you can simply you need to use a patch most of the time. So be careful about it. If you get confused, you need to simply remember the patch method. And after then, uh, similarly, let's move further. If I wanted to delete the method, so I'll simply select this delete method, and I'll call my I'll simply hit my URL after this. After my API, I'll simply say delete, because this is my endpoint, which I've already specified in my delete books router or delete. After delete, I need to after this endpoint delete, I need to provide this slash, and after that, I need to provide the that particular ID of that book which I wanted to delete. So I'll simply provide this ID. I'll paste this ID of the book of Spider-Man, and if I but there is a catch. Till this point, we have seen that to update the book, we need to provide that particular book ID, book's ID, and also we need to provide the basically body of that what we wanted to update. You can see that in my body, I have here I was updating those things which I wanted to update in the patch request. But in case of delete, you don't need to basically provide you don't need to provide the body section or anything. You simply need to, because we are going to delete it, because we want to delete it. We don't want to update that. So logically think this in this manner, that you wanted to delete it. You need to simply specify that ID. And if you want, and let's say if I wanted to delete this book, if I send this with this specific ID, if I hit this API, then let's see. Yeah, it says it give me a response that a book deleted successfully with ID, this ID which I have already specified here to delete that book, and the book name was Spider-Man comic. And if you still now how am I sure about it? So let's see. If we read this book again, if I hit this endpoint API again to read my books, how many types of book I have. So let's say if I have any Spider-Man comic, or so let's say I have Harry Potter, Atomic Habits, Batman the Dark Knight, Bhagavad Gita. You can see that till this point, I have created some of the books. I was also able to update that books. I was also able to delete that books, and sorry, I was able to delete a particular book and update a particular book, and also delete the book at the same time. And I was also able to read the books. And if you want to see that where all these books are going to store in the database, I'll also show you that this is my Mongo Atlas URI. Uh, and if I this is my database book management app, and this is the book libraries. And if I refresh this, so let's refresh this. And if I hit this, you can see that this is my database book management app. And inside this book database, I have a collection name that is a book libraries app. Sorry, not book libraries app. This is a collection which has a name book libraries, and it contains some of the books which we have already successfully created. So you can see that this is my book Harry Potter, Atomic Habits, and these are the books that we were successfully able to create that book. If you wanted to perform that, so we till this point we have seen that how we can perform the CRUD operations using the Postman, and we were also able to test our API successfully. So our API is successfully working, but if you wanted to perform the CRUD operations, you can also perform CRUD from here at this in your collection as well. Because Compass provide you some of the options. It provides you that edit the document. It is nothing but a patch request. If you want to update, you can simply go to this, and if you wanted to change something, you can change anything here. And let's say if you wanted to delete it, you can at the same time you will be able to delete it. And there is one more. Let's say so it will provide you some sort of functionality to create the books, and you can also add the book as well here with the help of this option. So this is it for today, and we and our API of basically creating the books and performing the CRUD operations on based on the requirement. We are successfully able to seen that, and you, and also there is users credentials which I've already shown you that how you can basically create the register the users and log in it at the same time. So this is it for today, and if you have any questions and doubts, you can simply just drop in the comments of LinkedIn post. I would be very grateful about it. So thank you everyone for this.